Hey everyone, it's Justin. Thank you for watching. I've been inching my way forward through this last video, and in this last one, still talking about business continuity management, but we're actually going to do a crisis event. We're going to use the crisis map, which is the prettiest feature to demo in business continuity management. Now, I'm going to click on it over there on the left-hand side. I'm using that little geotag icon there. And what's going on here is you have the ability with business continuity management to add some data feeds to bring into the platform to see events as they're happening. So you can see here I've got some active alerts about things that are going on around the world currently, right? So this demo environment is hooked up to this feed actively. If I click on this drought is going on in Madagascar, I can see kind of a polygon highlighting where all it's affecting. Notice that Madagascar is over here on the left-hand side, and it's highlighting a lot of most of Africa there, or a big chunk of Africa. But this is affecting that particular area of the world. And on the left-hand side, as someone who may be responding to a crisis, I've got some information about this particular alert. I've got the details where I can see the assets at risk. I have some actions around notifying stakeholders or declaring an event, which we're actually going to do in this video. There's no response task right now because I haven't declared an event, and I haven't had any activity other than the system making some updates. And here you can see the impact area has been changing since, let's see, 5/16 when this came in. So obviously this is demo data because we're in August here, and that was a long way away from 5/16. But that's okay. We're doing a demo. We want to see what this looks like for if you were actually to use this. First thing to click on is the locations. So because this polygon was drawn around a particular area, if in ServiceNow you had any locations associated with that, they'll show up there. So we've got Cape Town, Johannesburg, and South Africa all being tagged because we've got their lats and longs loaded in the system for that particular location. So those are your location assets, and I have the ability to notify stakeholders. So I could select a different audience, and then I could add additional people. So, I always like to grab Mr. Abraham Lincoln, we'll put him in there, and we can send out an email using this particular email capability. I showed in a previous video that we actually, if you have an Everbridge notification, you can do that as well, send out notifications through Everbridge. Once we had everything formatted how we wanted for this email, we'd just click this send notification button, and we'd notify all the stakeholders. That's the fun part. The next fun part is, it's one of the fun parts, is to actually declare a crisis. So we can give this a crisis in name. There's a drought going on in Madagascar, and we need to protect our Madagascar assets. Make sure I spelled that right because everybody's going to be watching this because this is going to be so popular. Right now, the assets at risk, I don't have any that I want to select at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and start the crisis event so you can see how that's going to go on. Notice the first thing we have is our response task, okay? So the response task, if you've been watching my videos, notice the event is the similar one to the exercise video that I did. Not a physical exercise video. I didn't do any performances or anything like that. It was a business continuity exercise where we were going through the motions, the simulation of how to respond to an event. So this looks really similar, but I'm going to highlight some different things. So if you want to go deep into the details, definitely check out that video on exercise or business continuity exercises. In this one, I'm going to point out just some high-level details there on the left-hand side. For the impacts, we can go ahead and do the same thing we did in the exercise video by selecting whatever it is that's being impacted by this particular event. In that video, we chose accounts payable, and once we chose accounts payable, we were able to show a plan for that particular asset. I'm moving through this really fast because I've already demoed this before, and I'm just going to select one of the plans for demo purposes for this particular crisis event to show what that looks like. Once I've got everything staged there and ready, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing we did with our exercise. I'm going to start the event for this particular crisis event, and you're going to see the same thing as the exercise where we have our event tasks, and if we had more than one plan, they'd be broken out here on the left-hand side. We'd see any emergency notifications. This is a new tab, wasn't in the previous demo, so if I need to send out a new one, I can follow all the settings there for sending out that Everbridge or email notification directly from this crisis event. If I wanted to now integrate with risk management, right? So this is really happening. It's a real event. This isn't an exercise or a simulation. I may want to open up a risk to let the risk manager start managing stuff that I'm finding as I'm responding to this crisis. Maybe it's financial impact, maybe it's non-financial impact, maybe it's actual potential, right? So all the stuff you'd expect with risk management, getting that assigned out, quantifying how much it's going to cost or how much the impact is going to be, doing your whole root cause analysis afterwards, right? So good tie in there because it's integrated risk management with the risk system over there. Also, security incidents and IT incidents, right? So if there are any incidents and we want to add them to this particular one, we can go select a security incident from the list of security incidents and add it to our crisis event. Same for IT. So a lot of times these things are tied together. Maybe if there's a flood, fire, or whatever, earthquake, and someone calls in and says their internet's not working. Well, now that's an IT incident, but it's also being rolled up to this major crisis that's been declared. Last one here is a tie-in with vendor risk management, and with vendor risk management you get the ability to manage issues, and as part of that issues you can go ahead and start creating these, right? Because we work with vendors every day and they may be part of this particular response to the particular crisis, is working with our vendors. And we want to track any issues so they get assigned and they get resolved in order to recover from whatever's happening. There is a kind of workflow associated with this. I skipped over it here on the details tab. There is a work in progress. Once this actually kind of moves along, you can go ahead and submit the whole thing for approval and have a post-mortem, all that stuff you'd expect for a real life crisis event in which a lot of people were involved, a lot of money was probably spent, a lot of recovery probably happened, communications, all that stuff that you can imagine goes into responding to a crisis. And that pretty much summarizes business continuity management. If you watched the previous videos, hopefully you're lucky and you never have to do this last particular video and a crisis doesn't actually occur. But in reality, whether they're small, whether they're big, they're going to happen, and you can use business continuity management from ServiceNow to be prepared, to practice, and when it does happen, everybody will know what they need to do and how to respond because you've done the work ahead of time to get everything documented and rehearsed. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, or share it with somebody who you think might be interested in business continuity management. And until next time, don't forget to always be learning.